Having an exceptional relationship with your spouse affects every single aspect of your life and is crucial for experiencing your dream life together. I'm Rob Murgatroyd.
And I'm Kim Murgatroyd. Listen in on our honest, filter-free conversations as we navigate life and business together without killing each other.
You'll learn by osmosis how to transform the friction you feel in your relationship into a purposeful foundation that will allow you to grow together.
Welcome to the Friday Podcast.
Kimberly, without a vision, people perish.
Without a vision, people perish. That's true.
Did I get that right?
I don't know.
Without a vision, yeah, I think so, because I'm a Bible scholar.
Is that a Bible quote?
Yeah, I'm a scholar in multiple different books. I am a scholar in the Quran, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita. I think I said that right.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Do you know one of the things that our little one asked for Christmas?
No.
She wants a Bible.
Oh. She
wants a Bible. So just full disclosure, we're both baptized Catholic. We did our confirmation, our CCD, and even...
Explain to people what CCD is. They don't know what that is.
Central City Dump. That's what we used to call it. What'd you used to call it?
We didn't call it anything but CCD. I have no idea what it means, but it's
like Catholic something.
Diocese.
Probably diocese. But anyway, we're not, as you can tell, we're not very religious. But our little one asked for a Bible because here's what I love about an international school. At this school, there are kids from all over the world. There are kids from China, kids from India, kids from Germany, kids from Italy, kids from America, like Australia, everywhere. And with that comes a lot of different religions. And so in October, the kids learned about religions from all over the world. And they got into little groups and they did presentations for the parents during one of their field day events. So Sophia and a few of her friends did Sukkot, which was a Jewish holiday. And so they learned about it and they wrote about it and they actually put up a little tent and they did some traditional games and stuff. And then there was a table for Diwali, and there was a lot of different things. And we talked to the teacher when we went in for a parent-teacher conference. And she said, it's really interesting because there were kids that came to this school that were from, religious families or whatever, and they didn't realize that there were other religions in the world other than theirs. They truly didn't realize, because if you think about it, especially if you're in a super religious community of some sort, whether it's the Baptist in the South or whatever it is, you don't really talk about other religions. And if you're in a community that is very this is what we do, and it's not very multicultural, let's say, coming to an international school with all of these different religions is like a mind bend for you.
Well, listen, think about social media, right? How we're just all fed the same, whatever we're interested in. We just get more of the same.
Yeah.
But listen,
this is not what we're talking about today. But anyway,
this is not why we're here.
But that's what provoked her to want a Bible. I don't know why we got into that, but we did.
I started it. I gave you a Bible quote to open it. But that's not why we're here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about
the 5 vision board mistakes that people make.
All right. So before you tune out and say I don't care about vision board, let me just tell you something, bucko.
Okay, first of all, if they're listening to this podcast, they probably care about a vision board. Let's just say.
I know, but you're ruining my stand-up.
Okay, sorry, go for it.
Okay. If you're listening to this and you're I don't care about a vision board, well, let me tell you, we have successfully used a vision board twice. We have spent years using a vision board that doesn't work. Let me give you my 30 seconds stand-up routine on the vision board.
Can I give it the title first? The Board of Random Stuff?
Yes, the Board of Random Stuff. So if you've heard me say this before, forgive me. So you make the vision board, right? You go to the vision board party and everybody's there, and everybody comes in with a stack of magazines, right? I got Cosmo, I got Forbes, and everybody's got the stack, right? And you put them in the middle of the table, and everybody gets a pair of scissors, and they get, a big cardboard thing, and they've got Scotch tape, or they have glue, the reversible glue. And, they all sit down, and somebody is cutting out a picture of somebody's body, right? And then they're putting their head on the picture. And somebody else is cutting out words like Jeffrey Dahmer trying to escape out of prison, that's writing abundance, that's going across the top. And somebody else is, putting a picture of one of those Fiji huts, with the clear bottoms where you can see the bottom of the floor, where you can see the ocean and the sea under you. So are you resonating with any of this? Does
Yes.
any of this make sense to you? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, you ready? Here we go. It doesn't work. But let me tell you what is going to work. We just put together a vision board course. Now, let me tell you something about courses, okay? What we have learned with courses is what you think is a good idea on a course, you'll never really know until you invite people to go through it. And then what you think the topic of the material that you need for a course is, you'll never really know until people actually go through it. So what we did, for the first time in our thick fucking heads, we figured out that we are going to create a course for couples to create a vision board, and then we are going to bring people through that course and then refine the course and then sell the course, which is what we just did. And we're going to give you, we'll put a link in the show notes if you want to get the course, but we're going to go through now some of the common mistakes that, even though we taught it, we didn't teach it well enough in some areas, I think. Initially, we do now, but initially we didn't, because we didn't know these things were going to be as prevalent as an issue for people creating the vision board. So hopefully, with us highlighting first the problems that people have creating vision boards, you'll be able to avoid these mistakes. So the first major problem is...
What we found is that people are separating themselves from the vision. So the biggest thing with creating the vision, the vision of the board, is to manifest it properly. You have to step into it. You have to, you've heard it before, you have to almost act as if it's happening. And when Rob and I were manifesting ours, we would literally sit and talk and look at our board and listen and read our vision and talk about, like, he'd have a picture of surfing and he'd be like, I can't wait to surf. I wonder which beach is the best to surf on. So he'd open the laptop and he'd look up beaches in the South Bay in California to surf and which ones are the best and where do people go. And then he was like, well, everyone wears a wetsuit. I wonder if you wear them year round. So we'd call a local surf shop. And these things are incredibly important, although we had literally no idea when we were moving to California. Us stepping into it as if we were moving tomorrow is what manifested it and accelerated the process. So what we realized when we're listening to people talk about their vision board is that they're saying, someday I will, I would really like to, I want to, and not saying I am. This is what's happening. And that happened to us too. And by the way, if you're going to start out that way, I remember when we first put our California vision board up in our house and the maintenance man came in and I looked at it and he looked at it because it was in our kitchen. That was a huge shift. It went from like the bathroom to the kitchen and he looked at it. He's like, what's that? And it was just a bunch of pictures of what appears to be random to him. Wasn't random to us because every single picture was like a visual representation of our vision. And I said, well, we would like to move to California and we're thinking that house would be kind of like this one that's up on the board. And this is a school we think our daughter should go to. And so I remember using that similar future tense verbiage initially. But then people would, like neighbors would come over, friends would come over. We'd be like, okay, so here's what's happening. We're going to move to California. And it became so present tense that our neighbors were like, when are you moving? We're like, oh, we don't know. But whenever it happens, it was so present tense. And so I think there's a natural, you're not sure. And so you're saying maybe it will happen, or in the future I will. But the direction you intentionally need to go in is I am, this is happening.
All right. So let's talk about why that is so difficult for people to do. And you got to cut yourself a break here, because your brain sees it as something in the future and it doesn't see it as present. And it makes sense because it's something in the future and it's not present. The work here in crafting this vision, and we're going to get to this in a second, but the vision board is a representation of the vision, right? So let's just start with that. So if you're writing something like we did initially, I will live in Italy and we will have a home that feels inspiring to us. Doesn't really mean much, right? So there's this giant separation with the word will. I will live in Italy, and I'll give it to you again. We will have a house that feels inspiring to us. Okay, that is better than not saying you're going to move. I'm using Italy as an example, obviously. It's better than not saying it at all. But if I said this instead, in the morning I wake up to the sounds of church bells ringing. Me and my family go down to the bus stop to drop Sophia off for her day of education in the hills of Tuscany. And then my wife and I walk through the cobblestone winding streets of Florence on the way to have coffee in our favorite coffee shop to connect. I just dropped you into a story, right? Your brain will then go, oh, okay, I know exactly what he wants. I know exactly what he's after. And then you will start picking up cues that are around you to help you support that vision. But if there's a separation, I will live in Italy, your brain goes, okay, well, someday he's going to move to Italy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Or you could say, we are moving to Italy.
That one right there was probably the hardest thing. No matter how many times I said it, when we had our students go through and read back their vision, 95% of them had that problem. And it's not that they didn't hear me, and it's not that they didn't know it. It's that it was separate from them. Now, that's part one. Part two of this is there are other parts of a vision that somewhere in the story that they were crafting, they did not have that separation. And they didn't have the separation because it was something that they could taste. It was something that they could feel. It was something that they knew. I get in my new Porsche and I feel the leather under my ass and it feels good. You know what I mean? I just made that up. So,
was it a hot day when you felt the leather under your ass? Because whenever we got into a car and there was leather under my ass and I had shorts on, it was not so good.
Are you old enough to remember the rich Corinthian leather on the Volare by Ricardo Montalban?
I literally don't even know what you're saying.
So there was a television show, quick side tangent. There was a television show called Fantasy Island. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the lead guy?
I didn't watch it.
All right. So the lead guy in that was Ricardo Montalban. He was Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
They hired him to do a Volare, a Granada, one of these things. And he started the commercial with, when you get in the car, you feel the rich Corinthian leather under your feet.
By the way, that actually, you're saying this, but what do you think it does when you watch a commercial like that? It plants in your head that this is a vision for you and it's descriptive and it's present tense and you step into it. Okay, I think we nailed that one.
Number two.
Okay, the second one is you are putting up goals and not a vision.
What's the difference?
Well, nowhere in Rob's vision about cobblestone streets, driving into Tuscany, and all of that did it say, we need to make X number of dollars to be able to afford this vision, and here's how we're going to do it. It is intended. The goals are the how. The vision is the why. The how does not drive you.
Let's stop there. Just stop. I'm making a pregnant pause here.
Why is it pregnant? In 9 months?
I don't know. Making a pause. Everybody take that in. Say that again.
The goal is the how, and the vision is the why.
Write that down. That one was another giant mistake that the group made. Okay. They didn't understand that the vision is a vision. A goal is a goal. What do I mean by that? Exactly what she said. The goal is how you will accomplish the vision.
Okay, but hold on. I want to give a little credit to the group here because you're saying they didn't understand that. I think they do understand that. You still have this problem. When we create a new vision board and we create a new vision, you will consistently sneak in dollar numbers, how you will sneak the how into your vision, thinking you can camouflage it, and then I have to make you pull it out.
Yeah, that's fair. So in no way am I trying to knock the group. What I'm saying is what I'm more trying to do is saying these are common mistakes that one makes.
But even
including myself.
That's my point, including you. And you know why? Because your brain, when you see the why, immediately goes, how am I going to do that? You put up a villa in Tuscany. How am I going to get there? You put up the whatever you want, the Porsche, the whatever it is. How am I going to do it? Your brain naturally goes to how.
Which, by the way, is the thing that serves you in accomplishing it. So here's the thing. Once your vision is super clear, your brain can't help itself but go to the how. So if you can get the vision done first, your brain will take care of the second part, which is how.
The vision is the why. It's the emotion. It's the dream. So when you're looking at the vision board and you're dreaming about the pictures, you're getting lost in the photos because they mean something to you, you take out your push journal and you figure out the how. You do your journaling and you get it in. I have this.
Or you let your subconscious go to work and tomorrow morning you wake up with 10 hows.
Right, exactly. Inspired actions. And so don't get lost in the how. You need the how. The how is going to come. But what you truly need first is the vision, because what people do is they say, I want to make $1 million. I want to make $100,000. I want to make this. I want to sell out my event. I want to have 10 coaching clients. Those are all the how. All of those things are the how. You can write all those things down, get them out of your body, and then why do you want those things? What are they going to give you? What are they giving you? Don't say peace of mind. Don't say abundance. Don't get specific. If you had the 10 coaching clients, the sold out event, whatever it is, whatever the how that you keep writing down is, whatever that is, write it down and then say, what is that going to give me? What am I going to be able to do once I tick all those boxes? What is the vision? That is the vision.
All right. Number 3.
All right. Number 3 is people will often harp on what they don't want. And in our vision board course, we actually talk about this and we have an exercise for it, but sometimes it's easier to go to what you don't want to figure out what you want.
All right. So let me unpack this. So there's 2 stages of this. One is in order to craft your vision, and I'm going to explain what the mistake is after I explain this. In order to craft your vision, if you're feeling a little stuck, one of the ways that we found is to write everything that you don't want. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to have clothes that don't look great on me. I don't want to drive a car that's a jalopy, right? People still say jalopy, or is it clunker, or is it hoopty? It's hoopty. Is hoopty still in? But think about how many names there are for a bad car.
A lemon.
Clunker.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. When you generate that list, all you have to do is flip it. It's like, who was the one that said flip it and reverse it?
I can see her.
Macy Gray.
No.
No? That wasn't Macy Gray?
No.
Flip it and reverse it. All right, somebody's going to tell us. Flip it and reverse it. Look at that list of all the things that you don't want. If you don't want to be driving the jalopy, what do you want? Well, I just want a car that works. What kind? I want one that's reliable. Okay. What would it look like? Do you want like a Daihatsu? That is, I don't know what that is, but you know what I mean? Do you want a Daihatsu or do you want a Mercedes? So you're getting lost in what you want. So
and how is it going to feel to get into the car? Like, it doesn't need to be an expensive car. Everyone thinks they have to put a ridiculously expensive car on their vision board or else it's not worth the vision. But maybe you want a car, like right now, guess what's on my vision board? A tiny ass car. I'm like, give me the smallest car that can fit 4 people. Because trying to pull in, if you haven't seen the video of me trying to pull into my building, it's a 17-point turn to get in here. And anything bigger than a hamster cage is a problem. So that's on. So a small car is on mine.
So what will happen then is that will then generate what you do want. Okay, so where's the problem? The problem is that when somebody writes their vision, sometimes they get so connected to what they don't want that it finds itself into the vision. For example, I don't have a house that's so small that doesn't fit my family well, or they'll disguise it. And it'll be something like, we're
finally not on top of each other in the family.
Go. Bravo.
Like, so you're taking something and you think you're describing it in the positive, but really I can finally cook in my kitchen. I'm not cramped and hit my hip on the counter every time I walk by. Like, I
finally have a car that makes me feel proud when I pull it into the valet.
Right. This is the bad way to do it.
This is the bad way to do that. So, I get into a car that makes me feel invincible, that makes me feel strong, that, whatever those words are, but not in any negative second or third person way that comes from a place of lack.
So say it in the positive. That's what we're saying.
Say it in the positive, yeah.
All right, number 4, you're putting things on that are too broad. So this is where, especially, I think what Rob mentioned, where you cut out words like abundance, clarity, and, free time or freedom, or things like that. Dude, that shit's so broad. Like, that's on a vision. Abundance isn't a vision. Abundance of what? Abundance of money, abundance of love, abundance of life, abundance of time. Like, abundance is a broad field. Instead of writing the word abundance, step into what would it feel like if you had abundance in your life? If abundance was your mindset, if you woke up and every day you said, I know the universe is going to deliver massive abundance of blank into my life, and you truly stepped into that, what would it feel like? What would it look like? What would abundance of, a lot of people want time freedom, right? What would that look like? Well, for me, it looks like a day date with Rob, where we spend the day going to museums or gardens and lunch, and we have a glass of wine and we giggle before we, go get Sophia at the bus, whatever. I don't know why I had to have giggle in there, but it felt like we were giggling.
Who's giggling?
In that one.
Was that tickling you?
No, different. That is, to me, that would be what abundance of time freedom looked like. So instead of writing the word, what's more emotional? The word abundance, or a picture of you and your spouse that represents to you, doesn't have to represent to the world, that when you look at, that would be time freedom, that would be a day date, that would be time for us to actually connect when the kids aren't around or whatever. That's what abundance looks like. Do that. Don't just write the word abundance, because your brain can't figure it out. You can't look at a word and go, oh yeah, okay, abundance. I got to think about that.
Now, if you want to supercharge that even more, when you craft the vision that will ultimately become the represented on your vision board, if, for example, I had a picture of cobblestone streets in Florence, okay, that definitely gives me the feeling that I just described in the example I gave you. But what if there was a picture of the school that Sophia was going to, the actual school, with actual teachers and actual kids. Like you went to their website and you screenshotted a picture of the backyard with the teachers and all the kids. That tells your brain, oh, I want that exactly. Okay. So the more specific you can be, there's all shades of this. Like on the far left side is cutting out the Jeffrey Dahmer word abundance. And on the far right side of the spectrum is a picture of the kids' actual school with teachers and kids in it. The closer you can get to that picture, the faster the vision will manifest.
Absolutely, because it's emotional to you. And that leads into number 5, which these photos need to be a visual representation of the vision. So again, if you're tempted to put $1 million on your board, what's that million going to give you? What's the life? Break it down into the nitty gritty. And by the way, there is no law that says
vision board law
that says on January 1, you must have the board.
I know. I think there is.
No.
I think there is.
We've actually made them in July before. So it's like Christmas in July.
They passed it in LA.
They passed it.
Last year. They passed it in LA.
Do you get it do you get it in the starter set with Big Hat?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right?
It's and the potato peeler.
And the potato peeler. So there's no law that says your vision must be completed by January 1 or you have completely fucked up 2023. That it doesn't work like that. Take the time to figure out exactly what you want. So you probably have your goals because that's easier, right? You can throw random ass goals, but why do you want them? What is that $1 million going to give you? What is that? What is it going to give you? What is the life? What does it look like? Get descriptive and nitty gritty, and then go find the photos. Don't open a random magazine. Do they even have those anymore? Don't go to Barnes & Noble, grab a magazine and flip through it for a vacation. Now,
I'm gonna give a bonus one here, and I'm also gonna
Hold on, we're not done on that one.
There's more. Well,
I feel like this is the part that use the internet, Google it, and be like, I really want my family to explore the Greek islands. Do the research, find the Greek island, find a family on the beach in the actual Greek island. Do you know how many times I've seen a vision board with a random beach and people are like, I want more beach vacations. And they put a random beach. If I say to you, if you show me your vision board and there's a beach on it and I say, where is that? And you go, I don't know. I just want more beach vacations. That's wrong. I want you to get crystal clear. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to the Caribbean? Do you want to go to the south of Spain? Do you want to go to Bali? Where do you want to go? And find an exact beach in the exact place that you want to go and try to find what you want. If you want your family there, find a family and let that be the visual representation of the vision. Don't make it an underwater bungalow in a couples only resort that you want to bring your family to. You're blocking the vision. Your mind is saying one thing, but the picture, do you know how many times we've put a picture on a vision board and peeled it off and added a different one because we realized it wasn't triggering the emotion we needed it to? This is important. This is super important in manifesting. Okay, I'm done now.
There's two areas that you and I have not talked about really at length. Well, one of them we have, but definitely not the other one. So if I go back to vision boards in my early years, let's call it 30s, there was a picture of, some Porsche that I wanted. There was a picture of a giant house, right? And I remember when I built, this big giant house that had a big circular driveway, a fountain in the middle of it, and I had 3 cars. I had a Porsche, a Mercedes, and a BMW. Yeah, I was that douchebag. And
I'm glad you said that.
I remember on Saturday, I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but I remember on Saturday, after I'd have the guy come and wash the cars, I would take all washed cars and line them up in the circular driveway around the fountain so that everybody passing the house could see all 3 cars, right? So if you ask me what was going on at that time, I would tell you that this was enjoying the manifestation of what I wanted and what I created, right? Enjoying it. But if you really were to go dig deep there, what you would see was there was a giant gaping hole in insecurity. And that insecurity needed to be validated by the car I was driving and the house that I had, right? And so the vision board then was crafted out of insecurity and the need to be validated, and not from a place of what I really freaking wanted.
External
right?
validation from anyone that drove by. And by the way, no one stopped to say, wow, you have great cars. You perceived the validation, right?
Yeah, it wasn't me that was driving the car on Saturday because I wanted to hear the roar of the engine, because I appreciated the engineering of the car. It was me wanting to show you what I had created, thus validating myself, right? And so the vision board then was created out of my need to be validated, and not the need of or not the desire of what I actually and truly wanted. That one is really easy to do. And then the last piece of this is shooting all over yourself, which is sort of a flavor of what we've just talked about here with the validation, right? I should, at this point in my life, have a house like this. I should have a car like this. I should be doing, Tony Robbins says you should all over yourself. So be very careful that, like Kim said earlier, that she is manifesting a reliable, basic, simple car because she wants something that she can go out. We'll get like a Cinquecento, which is like this Fiat small little, think of like the Italian Job movie, right? Something like that. A small little car. That truly is not out of a need in any way of saying, look at me in my car. And it's truly because you wouldn't.
Because it's like a clown car.
Because it's a clown car. It's truly from a need of, oh my God, I would love to have a new version of a small, cute little car that I could take Sophia and Rob or whatever, we could drive as a family into the hills of Tuscany for the weekend. So be very careful when crafting this vision that you really check in to Kim's point of the why. I think one of the reasons why people don't take the time to do this is they're not really sure why they want it. They don't know where that, they may say, I want it because I just want to have a beautiful car. But what's beneath that?
You got to dig.
Why do you want that Ferrari?
Well, that's why I said with the $1 million, like I actually remember we made a vision book once. It was like we got a scrapbook and we made a vision scrapbook. And it was actually
not that far off.
Well, it's not even that. It was the closest I think we ever came to creating something that was emotional and had meaning, because you and I crafted this book so we could live 6 months in California in 6 months. Like when you think about what we did right before we made that book, we did Tim Ferriss's Dreamline, and we realized you want to live in California, I want to live in Italy. And we crafted that book out of our dream with pictures and real things. That was like the first thing.
First like crack at it.
Yeah. And I think we did a really good job. But I do remember flipping the page and you had like a random number of $3 million. And it wasn't random to you. I know where the number came from because you wanted to live off the interest. I remember this. However, it was random in the amount of money that the interest would throw off. And it didn't actually, like if you actually filled a budget out in comparison to the number and all of that, it wouldn't have worked. And that's what I think a lot of people do. And that's why in our Patreon community, actually, when someone joins our Patreon community, the Ultimate Group, they get our Dream Life budget, because a few years ago, you did a call with Chris Harder where you realized that you were throwing out random numbers of how much money you wanted to make. And it didn't actually align with how much money we needed to create our dream life. And so from that call and everything you did, we created this Dream Life budget that we give away in our premium member community on Patreon. And it's really, that shifted a lot of things for us, because that uncovers your why. When you go through the process of the dream life budget, you're going through your dream life. You're going through all the things you want. And so it's a great way to figure out the why and reverse engineer the financial numbers. So if you do the vision board course, so here's how we lay this out, right? We created this vision board course for couples. Now, why did we choose couples? Because we think it's really important for couples to have alignment. Does that mean you can't do it by yourself? No. It's the same process, except we added some conversation around how to do it as a couple. So you do the vision board course, which I think, by the way, is phenomenal, walks you through all of our exercises. You get to the end, you have your written vision, you have your actual vision board that is the visual representation of the written vision. And then from there, you can tap into our Patreon community, grab that dream life budget and reverse engineer it and get the actual number you need, which is probably way less than you think it is, and reverse engineer that and how you get there, right? Like, this is how you create the dream life. This is how we moved our family to California. This is how we created this dream life here in Florence. This is the map.
So if you've been listening this far, you've realized that we started this conversation with, you go to a party with a bunch of magazines with some friends and you make some pictures. You can hear the depth now of what it truly takes to create a proper vision board. It's not the magic of a vision board. It's all the fucking work that you're doing, trying to figure out what you want, why you want it, how do you say it in the present tense so that your brain understands. There's a million different levels of psychology that are going on here and quantum physics that are happening here. Lots of different things that are going on. The arbitrary, let's cut some pictures out, is just so rookie. Like, it's just not going to get you there. So if you want to learn more about this, I'm sure we'll have a link somewhere back in the show notes. You have something to say before we leave?
Yeah. I want to give everybody a 25% discount off of our vision board course. So if you go into our show notes, you'll see a link to the vision board course. You can use coupon code FRIDATE25, and that will give you 25% off of our course.
Is there any dashes, capitals, or anything?
Nope, just FRIDATE25.
And 25 spelled out, or letters, or numbers?
Numbers. FRIDATE and the number 20. We'll put that in the show notes as well.
All right. That's it, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Have you ever made a vision board by cutting out pictures of the beach house you wanted, the Ferrari, maybe even put your head on top of the dream body that you cut out, and then maybe you cut out some words like abundance that looks like Jeffrey Dahmer wrote it from prison?
And then you hung it in your bathroom or maybe your closet, only to find it a few months later covered in dust behind the dresser. Yeah, that doesn't work because you're missing the most important part, the vision.
So over the last 5 years, we've created and manifested multiple visions and have gone from working 12-hour days in our physical business that no longer excited us to living the life of our dreams every day.
Using our simple exercises and effective manifestation processes, we've sold our business that was no longer inspiring, created 5 new streams of income that we love, and moved our family to live the life of our dreams in Florence, Italy.
The Ultimate Vision Board course for couples will get you and your partner on the same page with undeniable clarity in your vision together and help you manifest your dream life. Check out the link in the description to learn more.